Well, hello there. Welcome back to the show for the painting of the Dungeon Saga Origins miniatures. Today we are painting Fenariel Duneborne. Here we are. This is an elf warlock. So what I'm going to do, I shall block in all the colours as I normally do. So we've got some there, we've got some nice blues and some golds and some browns. And blonde hair. So I'll get that all painted in. I'll give you a little 360 now. It's a beautiful little miniature. As you can see, I've already got the sand on the base. This is sand and small seashells crushed together to give a nice gravelly effect to the base. And of course, I've undercoated the base in dragon white to make a start. So what we'll do is, when we get back, I shall start highlighting the miniature once I've blocked in the colours. Okay, so the miniature is already starting to look fab. All the blocking in of the colours is done. As you can see, we've got lovely blues there and some light browns. We've gone for ebony flesh for the skin tones, and we have a nice, what have we got here? A desert tan for the hair. We've also got shadow silver I used for the sword, and we have our concrete grey that we've used for our base there. And we've also shadow silver for the boots as well, because they're in metal. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start highlighting the actual blue areas. So we're continuing with the, so we're just carrying on with the blue, and what we're doing is we're mixing that in with some white just to make a highlight for the actual clothes on this miniature. So I'm just mixing this on the palette now, and it's a little bit lighter, and we can just quickly go over the highest areas on this miniature, and the face there on the top, and we're just following the folds around the actual cloak area just to give a little highlight. So you just got a tiny bit of white added to the blue, but it just makes a difference. We can add some along here. We shall be going over the cloak with a black ink wash, that'll bring out all the recesses. So we're just picking out the highest areas and the edges of this cloak. Let me get a better focus. 1 second. There we are. That's a little bit better. Anyway, sorry about that. It's very difficult sometimes to get everything in focus and actually see on the screen what I'm doing, and I do apologise. I'm not super duper professional. I haven't got the best gear like some of these other YouTube channels with all the super duper cameras. So you're gonna have to put up you're gonna have to put up with what I've got, and if you don't like it yes. Don't need too much. Like I say, we are going over with a black ink wash, so any highlights will be toned down by the black ink wash, but it will also blend everything in nicely, as well as like I say, we're just trying to hit all the edges, just a little bit on the edges there, a little bit more down here. It just brings out all the details. Now what we'll be doing here is I'll add a black ink wash to the blue, brown ink wash I'll be adding to the brown bits now, a light brown we'll add to the hair. So I'll do that now, and then I'll come back, and then we can do those eyes as well, and we'll do the skin tones, because this is the ebony skin tone. So what we're going to do is add some white to the ebony, and we can just add a little bit of highlighting to the flesh there. I really do like the ebony skin tones. It looks absolutely fantastic on this miniature. So I'll be back in 5 seconds. The ink washes are all dry now, and it's really starting to come together, looking nice. So let's make a start on the eyes. Now for the eyes, because we're painting ebony skin, you do not want to use pure white, or you don't want to use dragon white. And the reason being is because when you're using an ebony skin colour or skin tone, the white is too pure white, which means it glows. It'll make the eyes actually start glowing and looking silly against a darker skin tone. So what I'm going to be using for the eyes is a graveyard bone, which is a little bit darker. And what will happen is it'll work better than using the white, because what you'll find is on a miniature, if you use the white, it'll look too bright and it'll start glaring. So what we do is we just add a little bit of this, there we are, just a tiny bit there, and instead of like the white being super glowy, the eyes will look much nicer, just peering over the mask there. And that's all we need to do, and then all we need to do is add some black for the pupils. And we just add a little tiny dot of black for the pupils. And the same on this side. Just like so. Nice and simple. Perfect. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll add some highlights to the actual ebony skin and make it a little bit lighter on the head and the top of the arms. Okay, for the actual skin, we're using the ebony flesh. And all I'm doing is adding a tiny little dash of dragon white, just to make it a little bit lighter. Nothing major. And all we're doing then is on the forehead of the miniature, just here, just add a little bit there, on the sides, and on the top of the arms. On the skin there, we're just going over the top of the skin, which is a tiny little layer. We don't need it much, it's just to give it slight lightness. There, perfect. That's all we need to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this miniature off, and I'm going to give you a 360 of the finished miniature.